My next patron question is from Marco, who wants to know my thoughts on the more extreme side of fandom. There has been a rise of fan entitlement for a long time now, but when did this movement of fan entitlement and harassing directors begin exactly? I think since the start of anyone telling stories, there have been people who, despite claiming themselves to be fans of the material, start feeling like they're in control. Whether a filmmaker has decided to take a franchise in a direction they were displeased with, or a show creator to not end the series the way they liked, you get ones who think that people responsible for making the entertainment owe them something. Stephen King even wrote a fantastic book about this very subject, titled Misery. In the book and later film adaptation, Annie Wilkes abuses her favorite author over the decisions he made with his stories. She won't accept that he decided to take a different path than what she wanted and expected, and then forces him to write a new book to her specifications. The inspiration for Misery came from the reaction some of his fans had to his fantasy book, The Eyes of the Dragon, which they hated for not being one of his horror stories. This disappointed King, as he did not want to be boxed in as just a horror author. At that point, he'd even released a few non-horror stories, like Rita Hayworth from The Shawshank Redemption and The Body. Back in the days when people voiced their displeasure at television shows by writing letters to the network, Henry Blake's death on an episode of MASH led to several angry responses to the producers upset that this comedy show killed one of its main characters. Even though MASH was set during the Korean War, was a commentary on the Vietnam War, and had not previously shied away from depicting the harsh realities of those conflicts. Even going back to the late 19th century, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle received so many negative letters from readers when he decided to have Sherlock Holmes die at the end of one of his cases. It was so intense, Doyle brought back the character, and when he did eventually end the series, he made Holmes go into retirement instead of die. Of course, nowadays we have the modern equivalent, where viewers and readers express that contempt over social media and label the people responsible really hateful things. David Benioff and D.B. Weiss got a lot of this over how they decided to finish Game of Thrones. Now, were there viewers who criticized the last few seasons calmly and rationally without resorting to name-calling? Absolutely. I saw my fair share of comments that took issue with things like how characters are written, how arcs were concluded, and how the final episodes were filmed without being mean. However, there were also plenty who treated them as villains, all because they did not end the series the way those viewers wanted. And now you have people who say they should not work in television again. Yes, I'm pretty sure Hollywood is going to stop hiring the showrunners of one of HBO's most successful television shows, which won the Best Drama Series Emmy for 4 consecutive seasons. I'm not going to pretend like I've not seen franchise installments or television show episodes that disappointed me. That has absolutely happened. But I also respect that the directors and writers and producers decide to make a different creative decision. They are absolutely in their right as creators. We either agree with their choices or we don't. I love the first 3 seasons of Arrested Development, but did not much like the newer ones on Netflix. However, I'm not going to tweet at Mitch Hurwitz and tell him he's a horrible person who should remake those last few seasons and then never make another series ever again. He's still an enormously talented writer I greatly respect, who created one of my favorite television shows. Even if he only made things I hated, I still will not think such hateful things or tweet them at him. There are much better uses of my time. It always amazes me when I see people still griping about some blockbuster sequel released 5 years ago that they hated, or ranting about the ending of a television show that concluded its run 7 years ago. We get it. You did not like the way How I Met Your Mother ended. Every time someone says how much the series finale ruined their life, the first thought that crosses my mind is, isn't that the sitcom where Neil Patrick Harris sings a musical number about how much he loves Suits? Stop treating it so seriously. And that's the problem. A certain portion of the fanbase takes something meant to be fun and escapist and treats it way too seriously. Just say, it wasn't for me, and move on. Thank you for your question, Marco.